What's up guys, a very warm welcome back to the channel once again with myself, VideoEdge. Today's episode is going to be all about efficient water bottle production. I'm going to show you a really good method to produce high yield water bottles, definitely one of the more complex materials to make in the game. So we're going to make that a little bit easier here today, and feel free as always to follow step by step as we go through this design. Now before we jump straight into this design, we did ask for your name and ideas on our last episode for our ore production, and we had a lot of great entries. We really enjoyed reading your different names, but we're going to go with Mr. Corky Power, who named it Orly Morley. Definitely made us laugh, so well done Corky. And fear not, if you want to play again, feel free to throw your ideas in for this design when we get to the end of it. With that out of the way, let's jump straight into our sandbox building and kick this design off. So we're going to start with the most complex part of the design, and that is the water production itself. We're going to start off with our synthesizer here. We're going to need 3 synthesizers, so we're going to put one here, one slightly below, and one just next to that. Now this first one is going to be hydrogen, this middle one's going to be oxygen, and this last one again is going to be hydrogen. We're also going to need 4 chemical mixers here for this design. I'm going to place them in a nice little box so it's nice and compact. And then we've got 4 exit points for our water production. We're going to connect all these pipes up. You can see we've got 4 exit points here. We're just going to put those pipes in just to show that a bit more clearly. And on the end of each of these exit points, we're going to put a applier. Now we're going to be using 4 appliers here to maximize the production of these water bottles. And right next to each applier, we're going to put down some exporters. And that's everything we need on the water side of things. So all we've got to do now is set up our glass bottle production. Now as we've used 3 synthesizers already, we've only got 2 left to play with for the remainder of this design. We're going to start off by placing this first synthesizer in the top left corner here. And to really maximize the silicon production, we're going to use fast grabbers on each side of this one to get even more silicon into our splitters. Now I've got that set up, we can use fast splitter here, and we're just going to continue with the fast tech by splitting it off once again before starting to place down our heaters and then our blower buildings. Now we're going to put 3 sets here as we're having 3 lines of production, and in order to make the glass bottles you first have to select glass tube, followed by a glass sphere, and finally glass bottle. I'm going to do that for all of these here. And you can see the first line is going directly into that applier, but for these top 2 here, I'm going to direct them into the second applier. That way there's a nice healthy production going into each one, and that's going to form our top line of production. Now as we said, we've still got 1 synthesizer left to play with here, so we're going to place this just down here in the bottom left corner. And then again we're going to use a similar tactic, fast grabbers, to maximize the amount of silicon here, followed by 2 splitters, heating them up, and exactly the same process as we did at the top, getting those 3 lines of production down. However, we've got 4 lines of fast grabbers exporting this silica, so we may as well add in a 4th line of production here to squeeze that little bit more production of glass bottles out. We're going to change all these to the glass bottle format as we have done. And then finally connect these 4 lines up. These top 2 lines are going to go into the first applier, and these bottom 2 lines are going to go into the second applier. Now let's just make sure we've got everything connected up. And now we're going to kick things off and see our total output here. 2.7 water bottles per second, guys. Fits entirely in your micro factory. It's a really good output production. We're really happy with this design. We're going to be incorporating it onto our Sandship. We're going to be swapping out materials as and when we need, but this is definitely a design we're going to stick with. As always, if you haven't unlocked the fast tech, feel free to use the standard grabbers, but please note the output will be reduced because they're just not as fast and they can't transport as much material. So on to the blueprint costs. We know it's not going to be cheap because of all the glass items. The blower buildings aren't cheap at all. As we can see here, 156,000. Price isn't too much of an issue if you're at the late stage of the game. Definitely one for the higher level players. But we can see here, variety of materials required to craft this design. But once you've got this in place, you'll have a steady and constant supply of water bottles that you can trade in and out of your Sandship. Now on to the name. We're going to call this one H2O. Bit cheesy, but it's the best we can come up with. Maybe you guys have got some better ideas. We'll leave that one down to you. We're going to save this design and export it into our micro factory. So here we are, guys. Let's place this down into our factory here as we've just made. Turn it on. So as you can see there, those water bottles filling up in that transit capacity at that nice rate of 2.7 per second. Nearly 3 per second, guys, there. Such a simple design, really maximizing the water production with those 4 outputs, and then again maximizing the glass bottle production as best we can there with all of these blower buildings. Feel free to have a play around if you want, see if you can get better than us, and if you think you can come up with a better name, again leave them in the comments below. We'd love to hear all the suggestions. That about covers it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching as usual. Stay tuned for the next update, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.